Let's just do this. All right, can y'all hear me now? Yeah, I was having problems with my computer right whenever I started this thing, so hopefully y'all can hear me now. There we go. See, it was giving me issues, so like I use a little mixer over here, and the mixer was like, I'm not gonna work today. Like I was like, okay, like so I thought I hooked up the mic and it was working. I tested it. It seemed like it was working, but I guess it was not working still. But hey, that's what happens. So we're good now. We're back on track. And this week I've been hearing some of the TNT, yeah, right, freaking technology. But this week I've heard some trainers, some instructors out there talking at the pad, and I've heard several different instructors out there talking about, man, my fleet manager, he's he's making me test my student already. And hey, if your student's not ready to test, don't test your student. Like what you're doing, if your fleet manager is hassling you about testing a student, then get with the training department, talk to somebody over there. No, we don't want to test students out that are not going to pass. So if your student is not ready to take the test, guess what? Don't test him out till he's ready to take the test. If your fleet manager puts him on the schedule to test and tells you, hey, your test is on this date, go in there to see the examiners. Go in there and just cancel that test, because it's going to be a lot better and it's going to save you money if you spend, say it's just one extra day you need to work with that student. Take that one extra day, get your student right, put him on the list to test, and then once he tests, boom, he passes. Bam, y'all are over the road making money. Like, and at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make money. But if you get kind of pressured into testing a student, because we'll say a fleet manager's like, hey man, I'm ready for you to test your guy out. That way y'all can get that team truck going. Like, make sure you if your student's not ready, just don't test them. You know, stand your ground and be like, hey, my student's not ready to test. So whenever my student is ready, then I will test them, him or her. So I don't know. It's just what I was hearing this week, and I was all like, whoa. I'm like, nah, that's not good. Like, and I told each person that told me that this week, I said, hey, it's up to you when you test your student. Get the student, if it takes an extra day, it takes an extra day. It's better to test that student out one time, pass, boom, you're making freight. Because you can't test for another 2 days. Like, it's going to take you you're going to lose 2 more days if your student fails because you tested them too early. So make sure that your student's ready, and whenever you're ready to test that student, then test the student. Don't get pushed into it or anything like of that nature. I talked to Tennessee Flatbetter the other day about him coming back and doing some lives. You know, he's getting all of his stuff set up for camping and stuff like that. So he's going to be putting out his camping videos again, and I think he's focused on that. So, you know, we talked about I think that he would like to come and do some more shows or some more lives. It would be fun. Backwoods, what's up, Backwoods? Backwoods, when you gonna come test? I didn't even get to meet your student, Backwoods. I didn't even get to meet your student, but hey, whenever you get back to town, hit me up. Axel says, do Prime CDL trainers get paid more than TNT trainers? It just depends. Everybody's paid different. It's a different way it's paid, Axel. So like a TNT trainer, they're going to be making, depending if you're company or leased, you're going to be making the mileage or the revenue of the truck. So, you know, as a trainer, as a TNT trainer, you're making money like that. So it's different than as a PSD instructor. A PSD instructor is like it's off of a pay scale that's pretty much if you're a company driver, and you're an instructor, then you're gonna make $500 a week. You pick your student up, and then the week that you test them, it's a flat rate of 1,500. So each student will say, by the time it's said and done, is 2,500. If you're a lease instructor, I don't know the exact numbers. I still got it on my phone. Give me a second. So still got it on my phone somewhere. Okay, so a lease instructor is gonna get okay. 100%. So whenever the lease guy picks up a student, it's going to be $500, and then whenever the lease person tests their student out, they're going to get $2,500. So that's per student, and that's not to mention when you get a CDL holder. You don't get nothing for picking up a CDL holder, and when you test out a CDL holder, you get $1,000. So, you know, it's not bad. So like you're talking about two different types of pay there. Like you got to find out what works for you is what I would say. So for me, what works for me is PSD training, and you know, I'm good at it. I'll say that I'm good at it. And I make it work for me. So I'm big with crunching numbers and figuring out pay and stuff like that. And I really don't like sleeping while a student was driving. I just never felt like it was fun. Like it's not fun whenever you're sleeping and your student's driving. I have a serious trust problem. Don't like sleeping in a moving truck. You know, all the normal stuff. On TNT, I made good money on TNT too. Like, don't get me wrong, I was doing great on TNT, but I just really did not like the sleeping while someone else was driving. There's a lot of trust there, and I just did not like it. So I believe that what was good for me was doing the PSD side, and yeah, I like it. Prime trainer Tim, hey Twisted, they sent me to PA instead of Springfield. I catch you when I can. All right, buddy. Definitely come by and see me though next time you're in town. That's good though. PA's one of my favorite terminals. Like I loved it whenever I worked up in PA for like 3 months. I had a great time. But yeah, and also like some people, the PSD part is hard. It is hard. I taught I was teaching the instructor's course. I was helping with the instructor course not too long ago, and I was evaling them and showing them how to teach their students how to back. And what I told the class is it's what's going to be hard is as a driver becoming a trainer, what's hard is that you're now having to put in words of what you're doing. So, like, you may know how to back, but can you explain it to your student? So I was going through a maneuver and I was showing them the maneuver, having them do it. I was walking them through it. And, I was all like, hey, look, this is how I put it in words. I'm all like, look, we get in there and we start backing and we're all like, yeah, just watch this, doing this and this and this and this. And you're backing it in there. That's cool that you can do it, but you have to break it down to words that your students understands. Like, what are you actually doing here? How are you actually doing it? Because just somebody watching you is going to be like, and sometimes it's like it's second nature to us. So when we're all like, man, I understand it so good now that I've been driving for a while. Like, can you put it into words that your student will understand? You know, it's a difficult job. It took me a while to be able to put it into words as good as I can now. Like I was me as a trainer or instructor from when I first started instructing to now, like I've learned so much. Let's go, Oz family in the house. Hey, Oz family, y'all need to come see me. It's been a while. I've been wondering where y'all were. Backwoods says, I think we'll be in Springfield around the 11th or 12th for him to test on the 14th. Let's go. I'll see you. I'll be here. Axel said, I had a great PSD trainer in Springfield, helped me trifecta. Yeah, there's a lot of great instructors in Springfield. And there's at all the terminal, there's a lot of great ones. And we all had to figure out how to put into words that what we were talking about to our students. Like I remember what was it? 3 years ago, I was telling my students, so I was training a lot different than I am now. There was a lot more time that I had to do even more. So I was all like, you know what? We're just gonna learn how to back it in there. We're not gonna use any points or anything. And that's what we did. And I was successful at it. We were doing great with it. And my students were learning how to do it. And the first day I'd be like, hey, look, today it's gonna sound like I'm speaking another language to you. And the more we do this, the more you will understand. So I kept on like explaining stuff and they were starting to pick up on it. And then the more they did it, the more they did it. Next thing you know, they were explaining it to each other. Like I was just standing over to the side. And one would be like, hey, what you did is you should have got the truck in front of it sooner because until that truck's in front of it, it's going to keep going that way. And like, I was all like, okay, you really know your stuff if you're explaining it to the other guy like that. So, you know, it works. Cyberpru says putting it into words is definitely hard. They watch till they're blue in the face, but getting them to comprehend and to be able to do it themselves is the difficult part. Yes. And the way that I'm doing it now to really really help my guys out that when they go on TNT is I'm real strict on every wheel turn they make in there. They're gonna know why they turned that wheel and they're gonna know what they're doing. So I don't teach them, hey, get here and turn right or nothing like that. It's like, hey, why are you turning the wheel to the right? Like I challenge them and I'm all like, hey, talk to yourself. And it seems to be really, really helping out. Like here lately, all my students that I've had, we get done with our backing, and once we're completely done with our maneuvers out there, I started once I felt like that, hey, this guy got it down. I'm gonna let him start backing into spots over there. So we're gonna go put up the trailer. I'm all like, back it in there. I'm all like, and I'll stand out there and I'll be like, back of the trailer is the first thing. And they start going and I'm all like, hey, keep it moving. It's not like over there. You can turn the wheel, just turn the wheel and try it out. First thing you got to put in there is the back of the trailer, then the front of the trailer, then the truck, and they can get it in there. And then afterwards, always say, hey, grab your phone and turn the camera on. Turn the camera on. So they grab their phone, turn the camera on, and I'm all like, we gotta get a picture for the gram. You know, that was the first one you backed it in there and you did it by yourself or you did it with little to no help. I'm all like, let's go, let's get a good picture of this. Because whenever they're backing into spots on the pad, it's like, hey, you know, I'm not going to really help you. I might tell you, hey, you're working on the back of the trailer too much. Start working on the front of the trailer. Maybe some little tips like that. But for the most part, it's like, it's all you. It's all you. You back it in there. You do this. So it's like the perfect time to get that picture of one that my student actually pretty much put in there by itself. I'm gonna get them to stand in front of the truck, do their little pose, you know, take that picture where it's straight down the line so you can see how straight it is. Hey, it's for the family or for the gram, send it to the family, whatever. My instructor gave me a list of instructions. It didn't help me understand how to do it myself. Yeah. See, I don't give no list. I don't give no list of instructions. I'm pretty much like, hey, we're gonna do this so many times, you're gonna understand how to do it. Like I don't really give instructions like that. The only thing that I do is I draw a picture of the truck and I write out like, hey, turn opposite, turn same way, stuff like that for each moving part I'm on, and I go from there. So that's about it. I don't actually write down the whole maneuver that they're doing. I don't think it's a good idea. Does Prime High outer Florida? They do part of Florida. Okay, so they do, and it's only so many. So you know that per class, it's only a certain amount. Let's, oh, you're what? Oh, Cyberfruit helped you out. Let's go. But yeah, it's you know, backing is not that hard. It's only as hard as you make it. You make it. This whole training process is what you make it. Like I have to tell my students a lot. I'm all like, hey, look, you know what you need to do. I expect you to do it. If you're not going to do it, then I'm going to tell you to do it. So like for instance, studying pre-trip. I can't stand harping on studying pre-trip. Well, if you're not studying pre-trip, I'm going to tell you to study pre-trip. You know, and if you're hey man, I'm just gonna study it in my room. No, because on my truck, I don't count it as studying it. I don't count it as studying unless you're actually outside the vehicle and you're studying on the actual truck, the one that we're using. Like that's what I count as studying. I don't count watching videos, stuff like that as studying. I've had only like two guys now. It used to be one till here recently, but I had two guys that no matter how many times they read that paper and no matter how many times they were standing out there doing that part, they could not learn unless they watched it on video. So like I had two guys that they watched videos and got it down. And at first, whenever I first get a student, I'm like, hey, you got 2 days to learn it your way. I'm giving you 2 days to learn it your way. If you don't have it down in 2 days, then we're going to do it my way. And my way is be outside the truck and really studying that stuff. So, why did you change your name? Why did you change your name on here? Memorize that pre-trip really fast when it's snowing. Yeah, and that's true too. Like no matter how cold it is out there, I've had students out there while it's snowing doing pre-trip. Like it doesn't matter how cold it is, how hot it is, what the weather's like. whenever it comes down to you knowing your pre-trip, you're gonna get out there and study your pre-trip. There's like no excuse for not doing it. And it falls back to anyone that says, hey, it's too cold to do pre-trip or it's too hot to do pre-trip. I'm all like, so you can't do your job? Because in trucking you do 2 pre-trips a day, like before and after shift, one on duty, one off duty. Usually you do a pre-trip and post-trip, before and after your shift. So it doesn't say anywhere, hey, if it's cold outside, you don't have to do it. You can just get in your truck and drive. It should be safe. No, you're driving a commercial vehicle down the road, a 80,000 pound vehicle down the road. That's a dangerous thing. So it needs to be, you need to make sure that that vehicle is safe. So I don't care what the weather's like. We're going to do pre-trip, and I'm going to be out there too. Like anything that I have my students do, I am willing to do myself. So if I tell them if it's cold outside and I'm all like, hey, get out, do your pre-trip. Guess what? I'm going to get out. I'm going to be outside too. I'm willing to do the same thing. In fact, the better my students know the pre-trip, the more I'm going to be out in the bad weather. Because if you're real good at your pre-trip and you can do it in 15 minutes, like you should be able to do the entire pre-trip in about 15 to 20 minutes. If you can do the entire pre-trip in 15 to 20 minutes, guess what? We're going to go do some backing or we're going to do something else. And then I'm going to be standing out there in the cold. So, I'm willing to do it to help you out. Be willing to do it to get your CDL. I think it's better to do all your training during the winter to know what to expect rather than figuring it out on your own. Hey, the winter coming out like at the end of summer, fall time, stuff like that, and doing your training. I always find out that that's the students that come during that time of the year. They are hungry and they want it bad, so they really they put their full heart into the business. So they do really well. Springtime, in a winter, springtime, beginning of summer, the guys that are coming out here, and I came out here because I don't want to drive in the winter at the start. Those are your harder guys to train, honestly. Like we're getting into those months where like I'm gonna have the hardest students ever. And it's because that they put a lot of thought into it and they said, I'm gonna do it so I can drive during the summer. And like come out here. So one of the things I will tell you is if I can push you more at the start of your training, you're going to be even better, because once you we're knocking the nerves out. The more I can push you, like with driving or whatever, the more I can push you and the more I can keep you up to speed and the more that you're willing to push yourself, the better you're going to be. So I haven't done this in a while because we do a lot. Like I've been doing a lot of loads, but I used to have this route that I would take my students on their first drive ever in Springfield. And it was my route that like I kind of made it up myself, but it was a real hard drive. So like your first hour in the truck, it was go over to the industrial area and we're going to learn turns. So we spent about an hour back there, maybe 2 hours, hour and a half. We're going to learn how to do some turns. I'm going to be on you about your turns. Then we would come out and we would go down this little road with a 10 mile an hour curve where your trailer's all the way across the other lane, and it was a little skinny road. And we would go up that road, get onto the interstate, get back off, go around. Like it was a really, really like fun drive, narrow roads and stuff like that. But what happened was we would do that, and then we would do the Springfield route, the prime route that they tell you, like your trainers you can get a piece of paper up front at the desk, and it's the Springfield route for new trainers. It's like a good route to take them around town of Springfield, where they're not going to get into any trouble. Like it's a pretty safe route. So we would go on that afterwards, and my students would be like, man, this road is boring. And I was like, yeah, if we would have drove this first, the other streets would have been like scary. So, well, what I kind of do is I kind of make it harder on you at the first, and we kind of knock all those fears out. We're knocking them out. We're building that confidence up. And what we're doing once that confidence is built up, when we deal with the easier stuff like normal roads, city stuff like that, it's a lot more relaxing and comfortable because you're all like, man, I was checking my mirrors a lot on that skinny road. I was scared. So now I'm checking my mirrors and I have a lot of room in my lane. See, you feel a lot safer and you have more confidence. You're all like, man, I made it down that skinny road. This lane ain't nothing. So it's that's what I do a lot. A lot of the stuff that I do is building confidence, and that's what we're trying to do. And it's not that the person's unconfident, like an unconfident person. It's more like we're building confidence to being in that driver's seat. That's what we're doing. We're building confidence into driving. We're building confidence into backing, stuff like that. It's about building confidence. My PSD instructor was amazing. My TNT though didn't back at all. I was all forward and turns, no paperwork, no backing, no shippers, no receivers, etc. I was basically the glorified driver of the first 10 hours. Yeah, ouch. Yeah, see, I tell my students, hey, if your trainer's not letting you back, then you need to tell somebody because that's not right. If your trainer's not teaching you how to manage your clocks, how to do the paperwork at the shippers and stuff like that, then like you need to say something. But on the flip side of that is always ask questions. Like you see your trainer doing some paperwork or something like that. Hey, what you doing? How do you do that? You know, open ears, open ears. Watch and learn. I choose to do my TNT in the height of winter so I can push and learn winter driving under supervision of a trainer. So I have the confidence for it on my own. Yeah, exactly right. And not only that, like if you build your confidence in the winter, whenever summer comes around, you're like, man, this is super easy. So like that's one of the good things about coming in the winter time is that you're all like, man, like you're real nervous and you're like, man, I'm gonna push through this. Like one of the things I say this personally, I'm gonna man up and I'm gonna do this. That's what I told myself. I came out in the wintertime. I was like, man, I'm from Texas, West Texas. If it snows half an inch, we're shutting the town down. I was like, man, I gotta man up. I gotta do this. Like, you know, if I didn't feel safe to drive though, like my trainer was really, really adamant on like if you don't feel safe, we're not driving. Like you're not driving. If and he was great about checking the weather and stuff. I remember one time we were leaving somewhere up northeast and we were going through Ohio through my shift, and he told me he was all like, "Hey, when we get into Ohio, wake me up." He said, "Wake me up." And by then, I already drove on ice and stuff like that, snow and ice and bad stuff. And he was all like, "It's supposed to be real bad, so just wake me up when we get there." And I was like, "Okay." And it it did kind of get bad, but I just kept the truck slow. I slowed down. I kept the truck slow. I drove safe. I wasn't trying to drive past my abilities. I knew my abilities. So, I drove safe, and whenever he woke up the next morning, we were way past there, and we were good. And he got up and he's all like, "I told you to wake me up in Ohio." And I was all like, "Yeah." I said, You could have used the sleep." I was all like, I said there was parts of it that I drove like 25 to 30 miles per hour because it kind of got bad in some of the spots. But other than that, we weren't losing control, or it wasn't too slick, and the roads were getting cleared off. Traffic was still going. I just kept safe distance from them, and I drove a safe speed, and it wasn't no big deal. And he was like, "Okay, then." He was like, "Okay, then let's go." I just upgraded a couple weeks ago. Had a lot of shutdowns along the 80 during TNT. Yes, that sucks though. That's one thing that sucks. Sometimes pay attention to the weather. You can avoid a lot of stuff. My trainer, he loved to avoid bad weather. Like he was always on the maps and stuff. And you start learning how to avoid it. You know where you don't want to be in the winter. So like if you're going from like northeast to California, then and you could go across the 70 or you could go across the 44 and maybe have to drive an extra 80 miles or something like that. Yeah, we're going to go down the 44 to the 40 and straight in. Like we ain't going to mess with the 70, you know. You start learning little tricks like that. I'm scheduled to get my CDL permit in a week. I have my CDL B, so just need to test on combination sections. My question, my question, us, I think that's my question is: after I upgrade my permit, how soon will my recruiter send me to Missouri? It just depends when they have openings in the class and stuff like that. It could be like a week. You could push it out too. Like you could tell your recruiter, hey, I would like to come around this time. So like if you need to put in a 2 weeks notice or something like that, you just tell your recruiter, hey, I want to put in a 2 weeks notice at my current job, and I would like to start maybe on this date, and they'll work with you. But if you're trying to get in the soonest class, probably after you get your permit, maybe a week or two at the most. I'm not exactly sure with that because I've had people tell me, man, I got my permit and like the next day I was on the Greyhound coming there. So, Scotty B, what's going on, Scotty B? Hello. So, yeah, sometimes it can be really fast. It really can. It just depends on like how many people they're bringing into each class. There for a while they were bringing in bigger classes. Now it's kind of slowed down to a little bit smaller classes, but people are still coming in. I have experience driving a 40-foot bus. Do you think it would be hard to learn to drive the big rig? Thanks. I believe in myself. I'm a little nervous. Um, the thing for you that's going to be hard for you for a minute, like I trained a lot of bus drivers. I trained Greyhound drivers. I trained guys that drove the bus at Disneyland. I've drove like different buses. I've taught a lot of people that drove buses, and one of the things that's going to be hard for you to get through your head is whenever you're backing out there, it bends. The truck and trailer, there's a bend in it. You're used to something straight, it bends. So you're gonna have to get used to that. You're gonna be like, man, I don't understand what's going on. I can back a bus. And it's because you're not taking into account it bends. So, it's as for like in a bus making a left turn, you go straight out, you get all the room you can, you turn. In a bus, when you make a right turn, you look in your mirror on the bus on the right side, you look at the tire of the bus where it's at, and you trace around the curb. It's the same thing with the truck and trailer. Same thing. Like I had some of my guys that came that were bus drivers, they were having difficult time in making right turns. And I said, "What do you do in your bus?" And then he was all like, "I look in my mirror and I trace the curb with the tire of the bus." I'm all like, that's what I've been telling you to do all day with the trailer. Yeah, but not no buts. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So what would you be doing if not driving trucks? If I wasn't driving trucks, I would probably still be at the state of Texas as a correctional officer. So yeah, I did that for 13 years. So I'd probably still be there. I would be at 20 years with the state. I'd be at 21 years at the state right now. That's crazy. Oh, you still hauling scrap metal? JPZ, how's it going, man? Heading to Pittston in 2 weeks. Any tips would be appreciated. Study your pre-trip. Study your pre-trip. That's the biggest tip I can give you. The next is the next thing I'll tell you is listen. Your instructor is going to tell you stuff. Listen. Like, don't act like you know everything. You're not always right. Don't try to be always right. Your instructor is going to tell you something and you're going to be like, you're going to have your own thoughts on it. Like, you can say your thoughts, but don't start arguing with your instructor. Your instructor is there to teach you, and we learn from our mistakes. So the faster you are at admitting that you made a mistake, the more you can learn. So I get a lot of people that don't admit that they make a mistake, and it's harder for them because they're not realizing that they need to learn from the mistake. They need to accept it. Don't come up with excuses for it and stuff. It happens. We're expecting, as an instructor, we expect our students to make mistakes. It's a learning experience. Anytime one of our students messes up, guess what? It's a learning experience. Hey, don't do that. This is why. Prime pays for the medical card. Yes. Or that's what I've been told that they do. Everyone's been saying that they do. But I think air brakes test screwed me up more than anything else. Yeah, the air brakes is stressful because if you mess it up, you can auto fill. So it becomes stressful. It does. But it's not hard as long as you put work into it. So like most of the times whenever my students are messing up on their pre-trip, it took me 2 times to get my class. Yeah. And most of the time, whenever my students are having a hard time on the in cab or any part of the pre-trip, the main reason they're having trouble on it and the main reason that they're stuttering and messing it up is because they're not putting in enough work on it. So that's the biggest reason people are messing up is because they're not putting in enough work on it. I had one guy one time, he was all like, "Yeah, I've been studying every day," and I'm all like, "It's like that's funny. That's funny because my truck hasn't been like nothing in the truck's been moved." He was a short guy, so the seat would always be up. Well, when I parked my truck, I put the seat all the way back, and this dude couldn't reach the pedals really without the seat being up. So I was like, "How are you practicing the in cab with the seat all the way back?" And he was all like, "No, no, no, I just been reading it, but I've been studying it." And I'm all like, "Well, that's your problem." So it was a bad in cab. So I was all like, "Hey man, you got to study this stuff, and you have keys to the truck. Like I'm give you every opportunity I can." That day I came into work, the next day I came into work, my seat was all the way up, and I had to slide it back to get in my truck. And then I was all like, "All right, let's hear your in cab." This dude did the biggest turnaround on pre-trip I've ever seen. The biggest. He went from not being able to even do the safe start. He couldn't even do the safe start. He went from that to not missing nothing the next day. It was the biggest turnaround ever on a pre-trip. I was like, dude, I am impressed. I am impressed. Does Prime have good benefits? Do we get paid while we go to with an instructor for 2 to 3 weeks? Oh, I see it down here. For 2 to 3 weeks. You during the when that 2 or 3 weeks right there, you get a loan. It's going to be a $200 a week loan that you pay back once you get hired on. I think they take $25 out your check a week until it's paid off, and it's interest free. Prime does not charge you interest on it. So that's how you're going to get paid during that. The benefits, company drivers have benefits, and they are good. They are good. Like, I don't have a problem with any of my benefits. Like, I like them. So, but the lease guy has to go find his own benefits because he owns his own company. So he doesn't have the same benefits that I would. Before you test, no, you don't get paid. They give you an advance of 200 a week. See, yeah. Cyberfruit just went through it, so he got an advance of 200 a week. Yeah. So, it's better than nothing. I've been saying for a while, like that 200 a week was there since I went through the school, and I'm all like, what is 200 a week? Let's see how much a day that is to live off of. 200, clear this off. 200 divided by 7. So that's like $28. That's like $28 a day to live off of. It's not like it's not much. It's not much, but I think that they should move it up sometime because it's been $200 since I went through and the cost of everything's went up. So, it's better than nothing. I will say that. It's better than nothing, and it's just for you. A lot of my students don't even use it. They don't use none of it. They just leave it on their card and they're all like, I don't want to have to pay it back, so I'm not going to use it. I don't need to use it, so I'm not. Some guys, they use a little bit of it. Some guys just blow it. Like I've had plenty of students that come out there looking like a Prime Ink billboard. They are just wearing they go to this one guy was real bad, real bad. Like he came in first day I meet him, he's wearing a Prime shirt. Next day I meet him, he's wearing a different Prime shirt. And he had the Prime sweatpants on that said Prime on the leg. He had the beanie that said Prime on it. He had the hat that said Prime on it. It was like every day he was coming in different Prime clothes. He went in there and took that money and just bought all the Prime gear he could. And I was like, man, I said, you really like Prime? He was all like, yeah, man, that's giving me my start. I was all like, dude, I would probably wait till I got hired to start buying that stuff because you're not even hired till you pass your test. But hey, he had confidence. That's some real confidence right there. He bought the Prime stuff and he was all like, look, I got so much confidence. I'm getting hired here. I'm going to go ahead and start buying the clothes. I kind of did the same thing. Not necessarily the same thing. But whenever I passed my CDL test, I went in there and bought a red plaid shirt that said Prime on it right here. So it was stitched on to the shirt, and I was like, I wanted something kind of nice to wear whenever I went on home time, is what it was. So like I knew that I wasn't going to be going home till like December, and it was like 1st of November. So I was all like, man, I'm going to buy me a shirt because I don't know if we're going to be able to go anywhere to get some nice clothes, but I wanted to look nice whenever I went home. So I had my shirt, my Prime hat that I got for free because I trifecta. They'll give you that free hat when you trifecta or when you pass your test. I don't know if it's pass your test or only trifecta. It should be, I don't know. But used to, if you trifecta, you got a free hat from the store after you did all your paperwork. So I wanted to go home wearing that. So I remember we were almost to my house. Boom, put on my nice shirt, put on some jeans, put on my hat. I just went out there. Like I went home like that. I wanted to be nice whenever I saw my family again. I wanted them to be like, that's where I'm working. The entire time in PSD, I didn't use it, but had to transfer to my purple card afterwards as a safety net. Yeah, and that's true too. It's nice to have. I took mine out every week. I didn't need it. I did not need it, but I knew that there was startup cost of my truck. So I knew that I'm going to have to buy chains. I'm going to have to buy like a CB. I'm going to have to buy a headset. I knew I had to buy stuff. So I took it all out in cash and I had it in my bag, and whenever it was time for me to get my own truck, I had some extra money to buy the stuff I needed. Yeah, you get a jacket after a year. I got all my jackets. I got my million-mile jacket. I got my PTP prime primes PCP, whatever it is. I got all that stuff. Like, I don't wear it, but I have it all. I keep saying that one of the like I'm gonna go to one of these events, like the I don't know, like one of these uh what are they called? These banquets or these award ceremonies that they have for us, and I'm gonna wear that stuff. And I never do. Like, whenever I went to the Million Mile dinner, I was like, I'm gonna wear my Million Mile jacket. I'm gonna wear my Million Mile jacket. And I just like I brought it out of my closet and everything. I was like, I'm wearing this tonight. And then I was like, nah, I'm not wearing this. And then I, I didn't wear it, but Prime's gonna. That's how good of a company this is. Like, so at the state of Texas, they give you a piece of paper, like a printed out piece of paper. So you would have so my certificates and stuff from the state of Texas was a printed out piece of paper, and my wife framed it and put it on the wall. So, Prime, they're giving you out jackets, they're giving you out rings, they're giving you out plaques. Like, you should my wall in my bedroom. So my wife put my stuff on one side of the bed, and it's my state of Texas awards, and it's my Prime stuff. And I look at the stuff, and I'm all like, man, Prime was so much better than the state. They like really are nice compared to what the state of Texas gave me. So yeah, they give you a lot of stuff. And the Cyberfruit says the hat is now with Twic. So I guess if you do your Twic, you get the hat. Pass your test and you get the Twic card, you get the hat. Okay. See, it used to be whenever I trifected, it was a hat. It was a hat, and then it was a free meal. It was a free meal over at the cafeteria. During training, do you get home time, or is that until you pass the CDL test? Reading the training, you get home time, but I live in San Antonio, Texas. How would that work? So you during the PSD part, you're not gonna go on home time. So until you're hired on, you're not gonna go home. Like Prime does not want you to go home at all during that. They want you focused and studying and getting ready for your test. They don't want you to go home and like hang out and get your mind off of your pre-trip and start forgetting stuff. So you will not go home during that. During TNT, you will go home. It's my boy Gene Scott. What's up, Gene? What's up, Twisted? How's everyone been doing? Hopefully you're good. Oh, we're great, Gene. Uh, During the PSD part, yeah, during the PSD part of training, you don't get to go home. During the TNT, you work with that out with your trainer. However, during scheduled home time, you don't get paid the daily rate. Yeah, and that's right. When you're home, you don't get paid. Gene Scott says, when I was there, I got a hat and a free meal. So, buddy. Okay, let's go. So, hey, not too long ago, they were giving out a free meal too. Supperware says, does Prime Store sell GoPros to get your YouTube channel started? No, they don't. And that's the thing. Like, you don't need a GoPro. This right here is how this the cell phone, not this one to be exact, but a cell phone. Like, if you're gonna do a YouTube channel, that's all you need is a cell phone. Get you a cell phone, and you don't need a GoPro. Once you move on, like, and you start doing more of it, and you don't just do it for a little while and then quit it, because a lot of people start up the YouTube channels and then they quit it. But after a while, then invest into the GoPros and stuff like that. But make sure you know why you need it. During trifecta, I just got the bonus, nothing else. When I graduated, they sent us home right after PSD. Yeah, and now they give you a choice. You can either go home and wait on a trainer, or you could wait at the campus for a trainer. They pay you less if you go home. They pay you more if you stay. All right. And it seems to work out. If you stay and wait on a trainer, you usually get a trainer faster, because they're paying for your hotel room, they're paying you more money. It just seems like you get a trainer faster. Well, I'm sure things have changed. They gave me a free meal for taking the slingshot class in Prime Points. Yeah, hey, they give us a lot of Prime Points. Here's you a lot of points to spend in the company store. That's how I got my shocks, that the bone conduction headset. I got that over in the company store for free because I had a bunch of points that I saved up. Because I don't have nothing to spend my points on. I'll let the points get up to like $200 to $300, and then I'll just go to the company store one day. Or if I'm ever in there, I'm all like, yeah, I'm just gonna spend these points. Like I'm just gonna spend them because what else am I gonna do? Sometimes I've been in there and I bought my students stuff like the lanyards that go around your neck. You see that most of the prime drivers have that leather one. It's a lot better than that string with the string with that holds people's IDs. It's a lot better with the leather one. It's only $6. So like if I'm in there with my students, sometimes I'm just like, hey man, I'll get y'all these. I use the prime points. They don't know the difference. They're all like, man, you bought that for me? I'm all like, kinda, kinda. I mean, I used my points for it. Like I had a lot of points saved up. I kind of bought it for you. I didn't really buy it for you because it was free points, but I used my free points to get it for you. Yeah, they love giving out the prime points. You also get it for fueling up. I don't even know how much it is, like one point per gallon or something. Prime does give you awards and points and all kinds of stuff. It's a great company. I love it. Like I love Prime. I do. Like it's great. As long as they keep on paying me, I'm gonna keep working here. Whenever they don't pay me, then I'm gonna go somewhere else. But hey, right now they're paying me and I'm happy here, so I don't see myself going anywhere else. Do trucks have GPS or do we need to get our phones? I received our CDL. Get a truck. Do you drive home? We do parking our trucks at the trucks depot. Okay, so on the navigate, we got navigation on the Qualcomm. You do not want to use your phone's navigation. Do not ever do that. Your phone is set up for cars. Don't do that. You need a good trucker GPS. Once we receive drive the truck. Yes, and your truck, the truck that they put you in, it's going to be your truck. You're assigned to that truck. So when you go on home time, you'll drive it to your house, or you'll drive it to a truck stop by your house, wherever you can put it. If you have some land, or if your neighborhood's okay with you driving a truck in there, then boom, park your truck in your driveway. I park my truck in my driveway in Texas, and in fact, my daughters, they were all like, we want to sleep in the truck. So one night I went home on home time and we had a sleepover in the truck. It's like, man, I'm at home and I gotta sleep in my truck. But it was kind of cool. I got them donuts and stuff, and we watched cartoons or TVs. Or we watched some kind of cartoon or something in the truck, and then they went to sleep. I went to sleep. Woke up the next day, had donuts, and I was like, back to the house. I'm not doing that one again. When I left for my first load, I got 8 points for the 24th. Hey, if I was gonna go over the road, that's where I would go. Prime Ink gallons. Uh, to me, Trucker Path is well worth it. I love it. See, I don't have the paid version of Trucker Path, but it's a great app. The recruiting app has Trucker Path integrated in it. Yeah, Trucker Path is a great app. Like I use Trucker Path a lot. I have a whole bunch of apps. I have the normal ones, the Pilot, the Loves, the Weigh My Truck, the Cat Scale one, Dream Mapper is my CPAP, Trucker Path. I got my alarm clock. I got my Truck Smart, which is the TA app. I got the Prime Mobile app. I got the KY3 Weather app. I got the My Radar. I got the Dunkin' Donuts app. This is all my trucking page apps. And then I got the what was it called? I don't have enough room to put this one on there, but the Wind Compass. The Wind Compass is super nice. I'm on the free one, so not now. But it's super nice, and it's all it does is tell you the wind speed and the gust and what direction the wind's blowing. It's really good for whenever it's windy. So that's a new one to me too. Like I barely got it the other day, and I was like, I got to fit it with the rest of these apps. I was like, oh man. But it's a really good app. The other day it was super windy and gusty out there, and we had a storm coming through. So I used that and my weather apps, and we waited till the storm passed us, and then boom, we went on our load. It was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Yes, it was yesterday. So there was a big storm coming through. They were having like 60-mile-an-hour winds and like tornadoes and stuff. So we had to wait till the weather came by, and I was checking it all morning, and I was like, we can't leave till like 11. We ended up getting a leave about 10:45 or so. But that's part of your trip planning. You got to make sure that the weather's good too. I don't trust GPS as far as I can throw them. I use Google Maps, Street View, Satellite View, and a road atlas. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey, road atlas is great. For the most part, I try to memorize my route anyways. I memorize where I'm going. So I'm kind of like Scotty B. I like to memorize where I'm going. I have my navigation on, and it's on mute, and I rarely look at it. What I do is I look at it for the speed the truck's going. So while my students are driving, it's hard for me to see the speedometer, so I can be like, bam, okay, you're going too fast, slow down. So that's what I'm using mine for. And some of my students are all like, man, you just know all these roads? I'm all like, no, I don't know all these roads. I've been to this place a whole bunch of times, so I know where I'm going. Like, I was told that if I take 4 or more days of home time as a company driver, I have to turn my truck into the main terminal. Have you ever encountered this restriction? No, no. I was gonna go on a cruise for like a week and a couple days, and I got with my fleet manager, and he was like, "Nah, it's fine," because I was under the same thing. I was all like, "Oh, I heard that if you're off more than 4 days, you got to turn your truck in." I was like, "I hate moving trucks. Am I gonna have to turn my truck in?" And my fleet manager was like, "Nah, don't worry about it." I was like, "Okay." Uh, you can set up your GPS with wind speed. Yeah, and if you have a hotspot, can you do it without a hotspot? So I got the older Rand Magnalia for my GPS. I have the old one. I haven't even turned it on in a while. So, but to get the wind speed and stuff like that, mine had to have the Wi-Fi to it. You said no. Man, technology's even better. Uh, why you give up the state job pension? I'm sure you were vested, but still, yeah, I'm vested with the state of Texas. I have some retirement there. Whenever I decide to retire, I have a little bit more retirement, and I have the medical for the rest of my life. Like I'm good on medical. The reason that I left is because it was not so. You how do I put this? Better just say it. So, like, I bought a house, and at the time, whenever I bought the house, I could afford the house, right? Everybody buys a house, they can afford it at the start. But what you don't know about buying your first house is that every year, like, stuff happens. So your payment goes up. Like, it's crazy. It really is. But like your payment goes up and your payment goes up, and then you have kids, and you're just get big in, you're digging yourself deeper in debt. And I started off working overtime to help that out. And like I'm not talking like no credit cards at the time. I didn't have no credit cards. I didn't have no school debt. Like I didn't have no debt. But my house and I think one vehicle, one car payment. That was it. Like my other car was paid off. So that's all I had that I was paying on besides groceries, electricity, and all that stuff. And it whenever your house is eating up most of your money, it's not good. So I was doing a lot of overtime, and I was making it work, and like we were still doing all right. We were living paycheck to paycheck, but we were making it. And then the state had budget cuts, and the first thing that they cut, they were all like, "We're doing away with your overtime. Forget it. No more overtime." And that was like a $30,000 like pay cut right there a year, 30 grand a year pay cut. And I was like, man, I gotta go do something. And that's how I ended up in trucking. I wanted to go to the oil field, but I ended up getting told that, hey, it's better if you're going to the oil field to get a CDL and drive trucks. And that's how I ended up out here is I was supposed to get my CDL and then go drive in the oil field. It ends up that I come trucking and I just stayed. Let's go, Hans. What's up, Hans? Our super trucker in the house. Only rookies park during a little wind. Yeah, right. Do you still train local or OTR now? Uh, I train PSD. That's what I train. I am a over the road driver still, but most of the time I'm doing local loads. So I know it's confusing. I do a lot of local loads, but I'm classified as an over the road driver. So with that being said, like if they don't have a lot of students and they don't need me to train a lot of students, then me and one student will go over the road and we will be OTR. We will go California, whatever. Like so I just pray that this happens. I want to provide for my family a better life and myself and get a home. Also receive your CDL. Does Prime regional routes or is it just OTR? It's mainly OTR. You can get in onto some regional routes. There's a lot of guys that are on regional routes. Get with your fleet manager and your fleet manager will be able to help you out with that. Um, yeah, look, I'll tell you this. I will tell you this is every once in a while, like when my student tells me, he says that phrase, I lived paycheck to paycheck. It reminds me of whenever I lived paycheck to paycheck. Since I've been trucking, I have not lived paycheck to paycheck really. So I mean, sometimes with trucking, sometimes you get a good check, sometimes you get a lower check. So like you might get that low check, but you have money put back, so you'll be all right because you know how trucking is. You might so take this week for example. This week right now that we're on right now, um, my check was I needed my student to I ca- to make a good check. We'll just say this week was not a great check this week. Like it's not going to be good. Friday, I'm going to get my pay stub, and it's not going to be that great. But next Friday, I'm going to have two tests on there, so that next check is going to be really high. So, it balances out. Trucking, it balances out. Sometimes that load falls onto the next week. So that next week's check's going to be really big. This week's check was not. It's just how it is. So, like, sometimes whenever you get that week of a check that's not that great, you're all like, oh, man, I got to kind of go easy on what I'm spending because I don't want to overspend on nothing. When really, you got it in your savings, but you're still like, you know what? I don't want to pull anything out of my savings. My savings is greedy. Man, money goes into my savings and we try to keep it there. Yeah, and that's right. Back to the house, the escrow stuff like that has gone up $250 in the 5 years that you owned your house. Mine was worse than that because I had a house built and it was like one of the first houses in that neighborhood. So they didn't finish the neighborhood and then they ended up selling the rest of the land to another company that built houses. So what happened to me is they started building really big houses over there and really expensive houses. So it shot the value of my house up. And yeah, it wasn't good. Prime 60-mile-an-hour club, too slow for me. Highway of Truth, prime mainly OTR. Sometimes I get regional is a lot less money. Yes, yes, it is. OTR is more money. Tupperware should have looked at the railroad. Good gig if you can get past this test and get seniority. Yeah, I had a friend that went to the railroad and it just so like we'll just say I'm a germaphobe and like my friend that went to the railroad, he was like, "Oh, the bathrooms, it's just a hole, like a board that's a hole in it, and you just go right on the train tracks." I was like, "Nah, not for me." Stuff like that, I'm just not big on. I'm like, ugh. So are you allowing people to train more than one student so you are still allowing people to train more than one student at a time? Yeah, yeah, we still train more than one. I have two. I'm glad you like Prime. One student is enough. Why would you want to have two dudes in your truck? Right? Man, I train five at a time, six at a time. I've had my six students plus somebody else's five students out there, like I've had groups of students out there. If you're training PSD out of a terminal, it's easy to do more than one. You're not going OTR. Yeah. Han says, I'm moving to Missouri in the summer. I'll show you children how to properly drive and back. Let's go, Hans. Come out here. Show us what's up. Highway of Truth. However, they cut back on that since they want students to get OTR filling to figure out if they like it or not. Yeah, they're always trying to cut back on it, but it's just that they bring in too many, and the 2 year requirement, like, so you have to have 2 years of your CDL for 2 years before you're even eligible to start training the permit holder. So like, it just makes it hard. It makes it hard. Highway of Truth. I was doing PSD, had multiple trainers with more than one student. My trainer had one finish up when he met me and one in the middle than me. Yeah, and it is. Whether you get trained over the road or if you get trained here locally, we'll call it, you know, either way, you're still gonna get a CDL and you're still gonna, get it done. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're trained over the road or if you're trained here locally. You still get pretty much the same. What's crazy is I can take a guy over the road. I can take a guy out over the road for 14 days and he's doing the driving and backing into a couple docks here and there, a truck stop every day, all that. And we can get back to the pad and I can teach him how to back in one day. One day. I can teach him all the maneuvers in one day. But guys I get here locally, we can spend like 4 or 5 days at the pad and people are like still not getting it. I'm all like, what the heck? Like it doesn't make sense. They're still having hard times on the backing. So like I don't understand that. It's strange to me. 15 years out here and ain't training. I got my start date. Let's go, Patrick. Congratulations. You seen Kiersey lately? I saw Kiersey at the Christmas party and I saw her at the Million Mile dinner. So I've seen her twice here lately. It doesn't matter. I mean, I was reefer, got trained by a flatbed. They don't care. Yeah, that's true too. I got a flatbed guy on my truck right now. He's going flatbed, and I'm a reefer driver. I'm training him right now. I've trained tanker, intermodal. I haven't trained anyone for the grain stuff yet, but I've trained reefer, intermodal, tanker. Um, you know, I trained a lot of different people going into different stuff. My start date's the 28th. Let's go. Congratulations. Are you coming to Springfield? I'll probably see you. Looky here who we found. Calvin Ware, my brother-in-law, is going to be heading over there next month. Can we get him with you? You'll have to send me the date. You'll have to send me the date. Like text me the date. Next month. I can probably do that. Text me, man. No, I got you. Oh, even better. See, that's what I was about to ask you next. Are you going to do as TNT? So definitely. Uh, t- text me, and we'll talk about it. I have an orientation Monday in PA. It's a great terminal over there. I like that terminal. Congratulations, man. Welcome in. Uh, just completed my first training with my student. Motivated me more to continue training. Let's go. Let's go, Robert. Yeah, it's really cool whenever you get somebody through it all. Like it's really cool. Like my first student ever, I was like, after I trained him, I was like, man, that's freaking awesome. Like he's out there making his own money. He's successful. Like it's nice. Hans, remember if you got snow on top of your trailer, you need to remove it. Yeah, coming to Springfield, Missouri. So I'll be seeing you sometime, Patrick. Hey, Twisted, the old man still around? I need to call him. I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Greenwich. I need to call him. I was thinking that earlier today. I was like, man, I need to call him. Because I haven't talked to him on the phone in like, you're talking about Greenwich. I haven't talked to him on the phone probably in like 2 weeks. No, probably in like 4 weeks. It's been a little while. So yeah, I'm probably definitely gonna call him tomorrow, see how he's doing. but he's still around. He was in my live like 2 weeks ago. He was in here. You might not remember me, but we talked at the terminal a while back. It was you who motivated me to train. Thank you so much. Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm good with faces, man. I'm good with faces. Names are hard for me, so I'm glad I motivated you, man. Patrick, I have a question. How many days am I in class before I go with my trainer? Uh, 3 days of orientation on average. On average, 3 days of orientation. Then you get sent over to the plaza, and that's where you usually get a trainer that day. You'll have some classes that day too, but usually that day you'll get a you'll get an instructor or somebody. All right, later, Cyber Fruit. Stop by anytime, man. You talked to him about a month ago. Good. I told the DOT officer I ain't going up my trailer to remove snow. That's an OSHA violation. Hans, you can take it to if you can take it to a truck stop and pay for a wash, and they'll clean it all off. But it is dangerous to be driving down the road with all that ice and snow up there. It comes off, hits somebody's car. You know, so Pegleg said that he's just been. I talked to Pegleg not too long ago. I was like, "Hey man, what's going on with you?" And he was all like, "Honestly, I just been lazy, man. I just been watching TV and just not like watching much YouTube and stuff like that." You know, Pegleg had a TikTok channel, and he's doing great on it. Watch, I'm snitching on him.
We're officially validating you. That means you'll do the rest of your new life.
On the volume so loud. Let's see here. Peg. But he has a TikTok channel where he tells jokes. If I can get it to show up. Look at him, Pegleg. He has 2,590 followers, 58K likes. I don't know why it's not popping up. Come on. But anyways, there we go. Man, I don't know why these cameras do this. But anyways, it's on TikTok. He has a whole bunch of videos. I gotta turn the brightness off. There we go. But Pegleg has a TikTok, and he tells a whole bunch of funny jokes. They're funny. Like his TikTok does better than mine. Like he has some videos with some views on here. Like he's over there killing it on TikTok. Patrick says, "Okay, I already have a trainer that wants to train me, and the same week I'm there, he's getting recertified. That's good. So soon as you get there, like soon as you're done with your classes, he'll probably finish his classes the same time. I got put in TikTok jail for a week. Man, you gotta stop getting in trouble, Hans. I do tell them that when they go and try, get me one. Yeah. Oh man. Hey, I gotta retest my guide tomorrow, and I gotta do some work tomorrow. So I'm out of here. Thank you everybody for showing up. See y'all all next Thursday. How many days to get TNT certified. It's like a 3-day course, and plus you got to do a safety course, so make it 4 days. So it doesn't take long. But hey, everybody, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all all next Thursday. I should.
Hey everybody, hit that like button, borrow my leg to smash that ding dong bell. Oh, and if you ain't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe too.